fires on this side of the board as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. You're less boring. We appreciate it, Shawn.
Yeah, a little spice there. Shaved counterbalance and some other stuff. He has 2 Entreat the Angels, whereas a lot of builds these days have 1. Main deck Detention Sphere, which is kind of a sweet catch-all that can also be pitched to Force of Will if it's not good. And a Humility,
And
which is pretty good against Nick Fit.
Yeah, and one of the more important things here for Shawn is that he has Mulligan to 5. Now, he does have a counterbalance. Also has Swords of Plowshares, a Punishing Fire, and a Flooded Strand in his hand, so he can actually play Magic here, but...
Counterbalance, awkwardly, not even that good against Nick Fit because its casting costs are so strange. It has, like, a bunch of 3, 4, 5, 6s.
Yeah. But then, you know, it's got a healthy amount of 1s, too. It has 4 Veteran Floors. It has 3 Sensei's Divining Tops. You know, it's got some... It definitely has varied casting costs, as you see Broodmate Dragon, Thrag Tusk, Primeval Titan, Garruk Primal Hunter. I'm not talking about Jun from Standard, by the way. I'm talking about a Legacy deck here. Scavenging Ooze, Throne the Last Troll, which Counterbalance can't counter anyway. So,
you know what I just noticed?
Oh, do tell.
I questioned the Broodmate versus Grave Titan.
But
Zenith.
you figured it out.
Yeah, it took me a second.
You can Green Sun Zenith for a Broodmate Dragon, which, since I am the resident flavor judge right now, it doesn't seem like that's something you should be able to do. Tutor for a dragon and put it directly into play, but the flavor judge's rules don't apply.
Not today, now.
So we do see Shawn developing his board a little bit here. Tim is going to keep spinning the Sensei's Divining Top. You see he finds 3 lands and a Badlands
Thankfully,
Bayou.
he does have a shuffle effect.
Yeah, he does have a Verdant Catacombs to get rid of that garbage.
Another thing of note here with Shawn having a counterbalance is that Tim does have access to 2 main deck Abrupt Decays, which is sort of the clean, convenient answer, main deckable answer to counterbalance. And one of the reasons that a lot of counterbalance decks have sort of fallen off the radar as of late, now that the number of Abrupt Decays has gone down a bit since its printing, the counterbalances are starting to crawl back, and there we see, as if he's listening. And there is a very interesting play. Even though he knows the Abrupt Decay cannot be countered, he does indeed reveal his top card, so that if it's something that he wants, he can draw it, and if it's not, he can shuffle it away with the Flooded Strand. Yeah, little interactions like that, very interesting.
He's giving away a little bit of information to Tim that there's about the top card of his deck, but at the same time, he's gaining that exact same information, and with the Flooded Strand in play, Shawn is realizing, I don't want anything to do with that Swords of Plowshares, especially because I already have one. As you see, Tim is going to cast a Pernicious Deed and pass the turn, and we'll see if Shawn does elect to sacrifice a Flooded Strand, and he does.
There's a lot of interactions like that, such things as Delver or Goblin Guide, you know, things where you're looking at the top of your library, in addition to the Brainstorm Ponder, you know, things with the shuffle effects. And I've actually played Predict before in Legacy. I actually played it in that Blue-Red Burn deck we were talking about earlier.
The best deck in the format.
Yeah, and Thought Scour. You know, somebody reveals a sweet card to their Delver, you Thought Scour it before they draw it. You can also Thought Scour like an Enlightened Tutor target. Yeah, a lot of weird little interactions like that, you know, you can get significant but incremental advantages and use otherwise normal cards for extra value.
As we do see a Huntmaster of the Fells joining the party here.
This is Legacy.
This is Legacy. Stay with us. We promise it is. And there's the Wolf token, but for Shawn, he has a Punishing Fire. A card we'll bring up on the screen for you guys. If you're unfamiliar, this reusable shock with Grove of the Burn Willows is a bit of what we call in Magic a combo. Being able to keep using this shock here, as Tim is going to spin that top, reveal a Cabal Therapy, a Pernicious Deed, and a Veteran Explorer. And there is Punishing
Speaking of
Fire.
combos.
Yeah, the Veteran Explorer Cabal Therapy combo is certainly good, but it is nowhere near as good as Punishing Fire Grove of the Burn Willows. The combo is so good that it needed to leave Modern.
Yeah.
Simply too powerful. And now we see Cabal Therapy here from Tim, and we'll find out what he's going to name. This is the real skill tester.
He named Force of Will.
And that's got to go.
This is quite a good sequence from Tim. Get rid of your Force of Will. Get Explorer, flash it back.
Yeah, so he's going to get rid of that Swords, because it's going to die. The Wolf is going to die to the Punishing Fire anyway.
That was an interesting way to do that. Is that? Are we sure that that's a Veteran Explorer in his hand?
No, there's a Primeval Titan in his hand.
Oh, it's a Titan.
Yeah,
okay.
there's a Veteran Explorer on the top of his deck from Sensei's Divining Top.
Are we sure that it's a Veteran Explorer on top of his deck?
I'm fairly sure it is,
right.
yeah. As we'll see a spin, we'll confirm right now. Pernicious Deed, Veteran Explorer, Sensei's Divining Top. And so he's going to move the Explorer. Actually, he's just going to shuffle away. So he has no interest in Veteran Explorer right now.
It's just he's got enough lands. He just wants some gas spells. That makes sense.
So what you're saying, AJ, is that it's prime time.
It's about to be, yeah.
It's prime time, Elix Skipper.
Hmm.
It's NFL prime time. With Chris Berman. Is it that time?
No.
Well, it's certainly prime time, either way.
The Legacy staple, Primeval Titan, we've seen it both of our rounds so far.
Yeah, actually, somehow we are 2 for 2 on Primeval Titans thus far through the Legacy tournament. I don't know if this is going to be a trend or not, but either way, I think we're seeing this coming into play, and there it is.
Big Daddy Titan.
Somewhere Chris Higashi is smiling proud.
Oh, yeah.
Could not be happier with the work that he's done here. Chris Higashi, of course, a Las Vegas Magic player who loves Nick Fit very much.
He's been playing it forever. Punishing Fire, deal 2, you gain 1 of it back, but I get my Punishing Fire back. It is basically a free 1 damage.
Yeah.
And for a long time, that was the win condition for a lot of control decks. Just won you upstairs with Punishing Fire.
I bet you enjoyed that.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah, of course.
Just hard locked out of the game and getting them for 1 a turn.
You're more trying to get them to submit
Yeah.
than actually kill them. As you see Primeval Titan coming over here. Trigger goes on the stack. He's going to search out a Verdant Catacombs to be able to shuffle away with Sensei's Divining Top and the 4th Grove of the Burn Willows. So he can really put those Punishing Fires into overdrive here. And Shawn is staring at 2 Punishing Fires in his hand, but he can't take down this 6/6 Trampler. So he's going to need to draw a Swords of Plowshares or many of the other answers, as he does have plenty in his deck with the Detention Sphere.
Humility would be sweet. He has 3 Terminus that wouldn't be too bad. Yeah.
But that Pernicious Deed is actually
Entreat the Angels is awkwardly no good with Pernicious Deed.
Yeah, Pernicious Deed is actually cutting off a lot of the outs.
Yeah.
Here. And now we have Garruk Primal Hunter, Standard All-Star and Legacy Specialist.
Draw 6 or make a beast. Looks like make a beast.
Looks like it's going to be Make a Beast. Going to shoot that. And going to shoot that with the other, Punishing Fire. That Garruk Primal Hunter has got to go.
Get out, Garruk.
Thank you for the white dice, but I don't need that. That needs to go. And that token in play is going to be a beast token, not a wolf. It's a 3/3. That's a big difference. And Tim is going to make that difference clear to everyone at home. And now Tim is untapping here with the Primeval Titan. Shawn has drawn already. It's past his turn, not finding anything of help. Again, Shawn did mulligan to 5 this game.
Is this not lethal?
Well, there's a Kessig Wolfrun in play, so this looks like this could be a lethal attack here, as you see him search out a Wooded Foothills and a Volrath's Stronghold.
One of my favorite cards. Are you surprised to hear that, Cedric?
Wait, hold on. I'm wrong. I take it back. It's not a Volrath's Stronghold.
Yeah, it is.
That's a Phyrexian Tower.
Oh, excuse me.
Is that one of your favorite cards?
No.
Tough crowd. But we're going to bring the tower up for you because this card works out very conveniently with Veteran Explorer.
That it does.
Living Metal, AJ, encasing dying flesh. It's good flavor
I was
text.
about to say, it's not bad.
That's good flavor
It's not bad.
As we're going to see a large Wolfrun activation here, and I think we're going to see a concession by Shawn, and we do.
5 cards, kind of hard to win from, especially against the grindy value deck of Nick Fit. Your Punishing Fires don't do too much against Primeval Titan.
Lesson learned. Lesson learned for all you Punishing Fire fans out there.
That's a free lesson for you, Cedric.
Oh, wow.
You can have that one for free.
That's so nice of you. I can never say you've never done anything for me.
Not anymore, at least.
Taking a look at the sideboard, you have Shawn's in front of you. Outside of not mulligan to 5, he's going to need some things, and they're probably going to sideboard out those Punishing Fires, I would expect, as they don't really tag a lot of stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Thoughts he's pretty good. And that's it. The rest of his sideboard, He's got like a relic and a couple rest in peace. Engineered explosive. Thought seizes a duress, a scrub land, so that he can cast his discard spells. A lot of the times, these blue-white-red decks, the red is for the blasts in the sideboard, but instead we see the red for the punishing fires, and eschewing the blasts entirely, instead going for the proactive disruption in the form of Thought Seizes and Duress. But you do need black to cast those spells. And 2 Vendilion clicks, 2 Geist of Saint Traft, and 2 Bane Slayer Angel.
The Joe Lissette special, Bane Slayer Angel. He's been known to play that in his blue-white Miracle decks.
Bane Slayer Angel, protection from Broodmate Dragon. What year is this?
I don't know.
What year is this? Where am I?
2010? Is that you? Great year for music. I don't know if that's true. I just thought it would be a good thing to say. That's when Katy Perry hit the scene big. I know it influenced your life. Big Katy Perry fan, right?
Greatly. Changed my life entirely. I was a new man the day I heard.
I mean, she had blue hair. You have blue hair.
On yellow paper to the right of the stage.
Think about it.
Once again,
That's all I'm saying.
Giants. Your round one
She's an
pairs
inspiration
have
to
been
me.
Yeah, I thought so.
Geist of Saint Traft, kind of a sweet sideboard inclusion in this otherwise pretty slow control deck. Just casual 6 power Shroud creature for 3.
Yeah, I actually don't think that's bad here. You know, obviously Tim's deck does have access to Punishing Fire, and I think that Shawn, seeing Grove of the Burn Willows, will probably put the pieces together and realize that there's Punishing Fire over there. And I think that Geist is actually something that Shawn could and probably should sideboard in as just a resilient threat that can close the game very quickly while Nick Fit is trying to get set up.
Agreed.
Speaking of Nick Fit, in his sideboard, we'll list off the cards that he does have. 3 Carpet of Flowers, 2 Mind Break Trap, 3 Red Elemental Blast, 2 Slaughter Games, 3 Surgical Extractions, 2 Thoughtseize. Of those cards, the question, of course, is what's going to come in. Red Elemental Blast is not very exciting, nor is Carpet of Flowers, at least in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure Carpet's coming in.
You think Carpet's going to come in? Okay. Just to try to generate that mana advantage?
Yep. I think that's super important. You can just cast your giant dudes that can't be really counterbalanced by anything. And you can, use your lands to sort of top or Wolf Run or whatever and be able to do a bunch of different things. I think that's a fine card here.
The Slaughter Games, it's simply too narrow for how diverse a Blue-White-Red Miracles deck is. Surgical Extraction, again, I don't really love. And then 2 copies of Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is an interesting card here because while Thoughtseize is pretty good, I feel like there's a very, small window where Thoughtseize is good. I feel like it's good on, the first, let's say, 4 to 5 turns in the game.
Yeah.
And then the window closes very quickly on that where you don't want to ever draw it. And by only having 2 of those in the sideboard, you can't really control when you are going to find a Thoughtseize. So I would be a little bit wary of sideboarding this in because it will have a huge impact early on and then be very poorly.
You already have the 4 Cabal Therapies main. I don't think you need more of that effect. And obviously, Therapy is superior due to its interaction with the Veteran Explorer. So I agree, the Thoughtseize is probably not coming in. I think it's going to be just Carpets and maybe Red Elemental Blast.
All right, well, both players look like they're good to go. Shawn is going to lead off with an island here.
Speaking of, Cabal Therapy, one of the more skill-testing cards.
Don't look at his hand.
It's too late. I already saw it.
I wanted you to name that card.
Well, it's really awesome when you therapy somebody and they have Brainstorm up. Because, if they cast Brainstorm, what do they think they're going to name? You think you're going to name? What do you think they think that you're going to name? What would they hide? Maybe you do the double bluff where you're like, okay, we both know that he's going to name, say, Swords to Plowshares, so I'm not going to hide my Swords to Plowshares because, he's not going to name it because he knows that I would try and protect it if I had it, etc. But here we just see straight up, wow, he binked.
He named Counterbalance, and it was a hit for Tim. You see Punishing Fire, 2 Flooded Strands, an Underground Sea, and a white card that I actually can't make out.
Was it Terminus?
Maybe it was.
Looks
It
like
was.
Terminus.
All right, it was a Terminus.
Yeah, Shawn with a pretty unimpressive hand was kind of hoping to get Counterbalance active, but Cabal Therapy, as if a Thoughtseize or Duress just takes it right out.
Now we're going to see Pernicious Deed here from Tim. So in case the counterbalance is ripped off the top here by Shawn, that problem is taken care of. And now you do see a Brainstorm here by Shawn.
And with Shawn's hand being so bad, this does, in fact, feel like an Ancestral Recall.
Yes. And there are even fetch lands here to make it a Brainsestral Recall, as he is going to play an Underground Sea.
Fetch them both, and guess what he's about to cast, Cedric Phillips? It is a Geist of St. Traft. We promise this is Legacy.
Tick-tock.
We promise.
If that Pernicious Deed weren't there, that would be a big game. You see Baneslayer Angel in his deck right now, too, actually, as he's leafing through here, figuring out what lands he wants to search up. I think he's pretty free to search up non-basics here. Taking a look at the Nick Fick deck list, there are no wastelands here, so I don't know if Shawn knows that about Nick Fit or not, but he does have the freedom to be able to search up non-basics and to cast that Geist of St. Traft.
Excuse me. The Sensei's Divining Top, also quite good for Shawn. You know, this game doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon with the Pernicious Deed answering the Geist here. It was actually a bit risky to wait there because, you know, a Caracas could have punished him, but instead he's just going to follow it up with another Geist of St. Traft, and this one's a little scarier.
And Tim is going to untap. He's going to draw here, and you see Slaughter Games
Wow.
is a card that he has sideboarded in now. This was a little bit interesting to me, again, because with how diversified these Blue and Red Miracles deck lists are, and you don't even have a really good idea of what version he's playing. You don't know if it's just traditional one, like Joe Lissette plays, if it's the versions with Helms and Enlightened Tutors, where it's very, very difficult to name something. Slaughter Games is really throwing a needle into a haystack and hoping to hit.
Yeah. It's sort of coercion-esque, where I think you just name contextually. It's not like Sphinx's Revelation in Standard, where it's just clear that you're going to name that a good percentage of the time. I think it's more like, okay, the way that this game is playing out, what could he have in his hand / deck that I don't want him to have access to anymore right now?
Yeah.
And you make the decision at the time of casting, rather than boarding it in with a target in mind.
Well, we see Tim does have a Huntmaster of the Fells.
Huntmaster versus Geist.
Again, we said we promised it's not standard.
Have I seen this before?
We try not to lie to our viewers.
Oh, I love Legacy.
As we're going to see a Sensei's Divine Top activation here. Force of Will, Terminus, and a mystery card here from the top. Shawn is going to untap quickly. He's going to draw a card. You see Punishing Fire in his hand. You see him play a Scalding Tarn. And Punishing Fire is going to take care of that Huntmaster of the Fells.
Kill it with fire. Get it back. Crack the Tarn for a red source. Kill the wolf. Get in for 6. Punishing Fire clearing the way for Geist is pretty insane. I can see why they didn't want this legal in Modern.
It'd probably not be a good thing to have in Modern.
No. Might be a little good.
Punishing Fire going to clear that up. And here comes Geist and his Angel Friend. So Tim is going to move down to 15 here. And you see Tim's hand, he has a Punishing Fire, he has an Abrupt Decay, and those don't do anything against the St. Traft. Neither does a second Slaughter Games.
Awkward.
It's time to get info.
I'm going to name Geist of St. Traft. Haha, got him.
And we'll see exactly what the name is for sure. And it looks like
it
is okay.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I don't think that Punishing Fire is particularly good against Tim's deck, but...
Yeah, nor do I, actually. I mean, taking a look at the creatures, we'll actually do the rundown right now. 1 Broodmate Dragon, 1 Deathrite Shaman, 2 Eternal Witness, 2 Huntmaster of the Fells. Great against that one.
Yeah, obviously very, very efficient against that.
1 Primeval Titan, 1 Scavenging Ooze, 1 Thragtusk, 1 Thrun, and then 4 Veteran Explorers. So there aren't a lot of cards that...
Pretty much just Huntmaster.
Yeah, it's pretty much just Huntmaster. I mean, you can tag Eternal Witness, but Eternal Witness has already gotten its value.
Yeah.
So it's actually not great in this matchup, but, I mean, it's doing just fine now as it clears the Huntmaster of the Fells and its Wolf token out of the way.
Yeah. Well, if your plan was to Slaughter Games the Punishing Fire, you might want to have done that before you cast your Huntmaster.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, because you're kind of priced into doing it the next turn anyway. Now he's going to take 6 more, and I actually think that there's a Jace the Mind Sculptor coming down. And it's funny, with all this colored mana, Shawn Dewey actually has a Baneslayer Angel that he can't cast in his hand. But that's This is a pretty powerful board, and there's a white source, I believe.
Celestial Colonnade.
Celestial Colonnade. So the beatdown is coming from the blue, white, red Miracle control deck.
And as many cards as we've seen in Standard be played in this match, we have a couple Legacy cards in play now, and so this is
Counterbalance top, you mean?
Yeah, and just the Mind Sculptor. So this has got a little bit more difficult here for Tim.
Thrun pretty good in this matchup. Not good enough here, I feel.
Yeah, Baneslayer Angel going to be the bigger problem. Also, Colonnade threatening a lot of damage as well. You're going to see a Brainstorm here from Shawn. Couple of lands. You see a Scrub land, a Plains. He's fingering the Baneslayer Angel back on top of the deck. You see a Baneslayer Angel in his hand. He does play a land. Playing very, very quickly now. Baneslayer Angel is going to come into play, and he's just going to pass the turn back.
Thrun doesn't match up too well against Baneslayer.
Not a dragon, not a demon.
Oh yeah, so they can fight. That's fine.
Yeah, so they can't fight.
And Thrun can regenerate and survive, so yeah, Thrun's favored here, I think.
He still will be the last troll. Can you imagine watching that fight in like real life? Just Thrun with his stick, just fighting Angel, and Angel's just like, yeah, you lose again.
It's like where like a little kid's trying to hit you, and you just put your hand on the head, and they can't. Like,
yeah, their arms can't reach.
Yeah, they don't have the reach to get to your body, so you just watch them flail. It's kind of like that, I feel.
How does the kid keep regenerating?
Well, kids have a lot of energy. Plus, he's all hopped up on sugar.
That's true. Sunny D. It's definitely the Sunny D. Open the fridge. Purple stuff.
Oh, Sunny D,
all right. Sunny D, your mom's awesome. Baneslayer Angel takes it down. The awesome mom, as it were. Baneslayer Angel brings the Sunny D. That's what it is. And we got Blue White Miracles versus Punishing Nick Vic going to Game 3. So I agree with you that I'm a little bit surprised to see Punishing Fire still in, but I mean there were only it looked like there were only 2 copies that were removed.
I was gonna say I'm not too surprised to see a couple of Punishing Fires still in. What I am surprised at is how afraid of them Tim Wilson is.
Yeah, I mean really I'm actually really surprised too with like, you know, if he had like 4 Deathrite Shamans in his deck and like, you know, a full suite of Huntmasters and stuff like that, I think I'd be a little more understanding of how scared he is, but
a couple Huntmasters, pretty much the only real cards that it hits.
And if he can even take the route of just like boarding out those Huntmasters to try to blank those Punishing Fires, which I don't really hate, because with how much creature control Shawn's deck has with Terminus and Swords and Punishing Fire, I mean, how good is Huntmaster going to be anyway?
He certainly has cards that he can bring in. He certainly has placeholders that are can be used to get the Huntmasters to not be just punishing fired for value. You know, he's got the Red Blasts, the Thought Seizes, the Carpet of Flowers. He has cards that do things. You know, a lot of times when somebody has a card like that that's not the best, it's like, oh well, he didn't have anything better. But you know, Tim does have some options here if that's the route he wanted to go. I definitely think that that is a better strategy, either that or just having the Huntmasters in your deck. And if he has Punishing Fire Grove when you play a Huntmaster, then good beats. I think either of those plans is likely going to be a higher percentage than having 2 Slaughter games specifically for Punishing Fire.
So we'll see. I mean, both players didn't even really go back to the board.
Yeah, it didn't look like it.
They just left things the way they were, and they've already shuffled, presented, and are drawing 7. And you see Tim is just leading out with a Swamp and a Sense of Vine Top. Has still not had a turn 1 Veteran Explorer. We haven't had a reason to bring it up on the screen yet.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what the deck does,
I was going to say, it's supposed to be a Veteran Explorer deck, but he's just looking like a rock deck in this match.
As we do see, Shawn is going to search up and play a Thoughtseize. Let's see the goods. Spread them. Phyrexian Tower.
Deed, Green Sun Zenith, Maelstrom Pulse, Verdant Catacombs, and a Phyrexian Tower.
That's the grip. What do you take?
I mean,
you don't know Shawn's hand. You don't know your own hand. You just have to take a card.
In the dark, I would say Green Sun Zenith, but that is indeed what happens. The upkeep top, Deed, and a couple lands.
One of which is a Verdant Catacomb, so there can be some sacrificing here, and it looks like that's the one he's going to take. can play a Verdant Catacomb as well, and he can shuffle away with Sensei's Divining Top here. Sean is going to draw a card. It looks like we have a counterbalance over there again, I believe.
Another Nikki counterbalance. A couple abrupt decays for Tim Wilson for, you know, answers to the pretty powerful enchantment, but not that good on its own. Needs a little help.
Depends how lucky you are.
That's true, but it should be noted that there are 2 brainstorms in Shawn Dewey's hand, which if you don't have Sensei's Divining Top, or even if you do but don't have the red cast on top, brainstorm, you can, like, Tim Wilson plays a spell, you trigger the counterbalance, but in response, cast a brainstorm, put the specific casting cost card on top, and then let your counterbalance trigger resolve. Boom. Brainstorm, in addition to drawing 3 cards, also counter the spell.
Indeed.
It does it all, Cedric. Why are you such a hater?
Slices.
Dices.
You're boring. That's how I feel about counterbalance.
Yeah, boring.
And Pernicious Deed.
You sound like an old man. It's like, you kids with your rock and roll music.
That's right. And that's a 2. So, whoa, easy. I don't know where that gets to stay.
A little ahead of himself.
Pernicious Deed isn't that good. That comes in, kills a permanent, and then you pay
and also
destroy
wraps
anything
it
else.
later. Yeah.
He probably thought it was Maelstrom Pulses. He does know that's in his hand. Wooded Foothills, Forest, and Thoughtseize are the cards, and he did board in Thoughtseize. Something that we were interested to see if that was going to happen or not. And now you do see one, and we might see a Brainstorm in response.
Hey Cedric, look, another awesome use of Brainstorm.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
It's incredible.
You're right. There's Brainstorm doing some work.
Doing awesome things.
And revealed Brainstorm
Boom.
to counter the Thoughtseize. Hooray, Brainstorm! This should definitely still be legal in Legacy. Hooray!
Come on! You can't do that.
I found your weakness.
Quiet! No, because you're right, and if they find out, they could ruin my format.
Alright, folks, any tweets that you guys do send now, hashtag ban Brainstorm
No!
for our viewers at home.
No! Do you want Legacy to go the way of Vintage?
We will start a crusade.
So, a backup counterbalance, a brainstorm, a counter spell.
And now a Huntmaster of the Fells.
So he did leave them in, didn't try and blank the Punishing Fires.
And we see an actual counterspell in Sean's hand.
Like I said, Nickfit does have some strange casting costs that are a little difficult to counterbalance, unless you have a Mind Sculptor, this one, or a Humility. This one's going to be hard to hit. Speaking of humility, that would be humiliating for Nickfit.
Terminus is going to take care of these guys.
Terminus works as well.
You saw Shawn consider using that counterspell to counter the Huntmaster, but if you know that you have Terminus on top, you can just trade 1 for 1 there and actually counter something that you do care about.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
Terminus takes care of that. We keep pushing along here. Mountain is the draw for Tim.
Is that Deed Pulse with Deed in play?
Yeah, that is Pernicious Deed in hand, Pernicious Deed in play.
A little redundancy here, a little unnecessary redundancy.
I dare you to play permanent. Thragtusk,
Swag
Thrun,
Tusk.
and Abrupt Decay. All right, now we found some cards that do something.
Well, let's see. Decay answers a counterbalance, but Shawn Dewey still has one in his hand. Deed answers counterbalance. The Deed in play answers a counterbalance. The Deed in hand doesn't necessarily. So, and counterbalance, revealing a Force of Will, say, or a Baneslayer Angel can counter a Thragtusk, as well as just counterspell proper. But do you hide your top and blow up the Deed, save the Abrupt Decay for the next counterbalance? Or do you decay this one and just try and play your Thragtusk?
I want to decay this one and try to play my Thragtusk.
You greedy.
That is exactly what I am. And I am happy with who I am.
Shawn Dewey picking up his deck for some reason. Not sure what's, probably just fetching a land.
You see Tim is going to shuffle away here. Tim's got some mean sideburns.
Yeah, they're not
I
bad.
tell you, those are pretty good.
Not bad at all.
Healthy. Definitely worked on.
Full. Thoughtseize. That's pretty good.
fairly good, but Sensei's Vine Top is doing a nice job of hiding some things
Hiding
here.
the really good ones,
Yeah.
yes.
Pernicious Deed goes bye-bye. Maelstrom Pulse is the card left over, and you're going to see a Taiga and a pass. Tim going to draw a card. Does draw the Abrupt Decay that we spoke of.
How do you sequence this?
Yeah, it's probably just content passing the turn.
Well, he's definitely passing, but is he deeding that counterbalance, or is he decaying it? That is the question.
You see a top activation here.
Get a little extra
Astral,
information.
Slaughter Games and Thragtusk.
A couple uncounterable spells, and a Thragtusk. Oh, he's just taking the turn back.
I guess he doesn't really care about what's going on over there for Tim, because Thrun just kind of trumps the counterbalance plus top that's in play.
He actually doesn't have double green for the Thrun.
Oh boy,
so
you are right.
I don't know that that's the best line.
I think that he missed that on his own too.
He looked like he was cutting away 4 lands to play the Thrun there. So I would agree that looks like that's what happened.
Uh-oh. The end boss is here.
Jace, the Mind Sculptor. We're all having fun with these cute interactions, but...
Yeah, now nothing you said even matters now.
Yeah.
Well, how's he gonna sequence his spells? Is he gonna blow up the deed? and then, like, kill the top and stuff? Or is he just gonna play a Jace and nothing matters now?
Jace with the counterspell for the Maelstrom Pulse.
There is the Abrupt Decay.
You have to decay there
spin.
because you have to pulse here.
Maybe what Tim was supposed to do last turn, because I think we can both agree that, he thought he had double green for Thrun, was going to cast it, realized he didn't, is, he's supposed to take the Slaughter Games and just Slaughter Games naming Jace the Mind Sculptor, because, that's the biggest problem card for him, because I have no idea how he's going to get this thing off the board now.
I would agree.
There's no way for that Maelstrom Pulse to resolve.
His only way to have done this now is to Slaughter Games the counterspell, then take a turn to blow up the deed for 2, getting rid of
the counterbalance
and pulse, and hope that turn in between with the Jace didn't yield additional answers.
Oh, that's probably likely.
Yeah, Jace probably misses. He does that a lot. It's not true, guys. Jace is really good.
And the thing about Pernicious Deed, that some people, if you don't play Legacy or haven't been playing Magic that long, is that Pernicious Deed is a card that does not actually blow up Planeswalkers. We'll bring that up on the screen for you guys. Pernicious Deed from Apocalypse, Planeswalkers way after Apocalypse. So Pernicious Deed says that it's going to destroy artifacts, creatures, enchantments, basically not lands.
Yeah.
Would convert a mana cost X or less, and Planeswalkers weren't a card then.
It's not lands, but it doesn't say non-lands.
Yeah.
Which is key, because there are cards that say non-lands that do indeed blow up Planeswalkers, but Deed is not one of them, which is why you see some of those older school bug, loam, standstill control decks using Jace the Mind Sculptor and Pernicious Deed together. But here we see the Pulse not going to resolve, and now you gotta like Shawn's spot.
Well, here's a Thrun. Carpet of Flowers definitely doing some work here.
Yes.
Giving him a lot of mana. We'll bring Carpet up on the screen for you guys as well. Let's just see what that sideboard specialist does do. You thought that this was going to come in from Tim's side, and it certainly has. And during your main phase, you may add up to X mana of one color, 2 mana per war. X is the number of islands target player controls. And the thing that's kind of unique about this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's during each main phase? Because there are 2 main phases.
I don't know. I think it's you choose a main phase. Like it only goes once a turn. I don't know why I think that, but that might be a complete lie.
You guys can correct us at home at Twitter.
Yeah, we
get
an oracle.
It is a little bit. It is a little weird card. I know that Enchantress decks play this. The Cuneo Enchantress deck plays Carpet of Flowers, but I can't remember.
A lot of Storm decks played in the sideboard.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how this card does work, because it is a weird older school card, uncommon from Urza's Saga. I know that you can add the mana during your second main phase if you want to. You can choose your main phase, but I'm fairly sure I could be wrong. You might be able to add it during both, but that would be strange if you could.
That would be quite powerful.
Yeah, they're just handing out mana at the door. Who wants mana?
So, Celestial Colonnade activated here. Jace the Mind Sculptor brainstorms instead of, +2ing. And now Pernicious Deed going to take out the Celestial Colonnade before blocks, which means that the Thrun is going to deal with the Jace the Mind Sculptor, but... Oh, no.
Oh no, what?
I thought he had a Terminus on top.
Well, if he does not have white mana for it.
Well, he just tapped a white to top. I thought that this whole setup was to get rid of the D for Colonnade.
You thought he was reeling him in.
Yeah, I thought it was the big hook. But no, Jason the Mind Sculptor is dead. Stop the presses.
I did not think that was going to happen.
Certainly not.
Now we have Carpet of Flowers here. You see Tim adding some mana.
Doing something with it. We're still not sure what it does. That is very strange. Does he not have a Terminus on top? Did he choose not to use it? Does he have another Jace? Cedric, I have questions.
I wish I had answers. Well,
Me too, buddy.
The answers will be unveiled momentarily. If
Well,
you
now-
see Tim is...
Now that Jace isn't in play, I was about to say, you get to Slaughter
now
Games
you get
another
to
Jace.
Yeah, now you get to Slaughter Games Jace. And you can't-
Force, Brainstorm, not doing anything here.
Yeah, I think you have to name Jace.
He's
the
got to
Mind
name
Sculptor
Jace.
here. I don't think there's anything. I mean, there's a small argument to be made for naming Terminus so that your Thrun can never leave play. But I think that Jace is probably the more important of the two cards, and that's
Yeah.
the one that you want to name.
Yep.
So let's see what he's going to go with as he is leafing through the deck here.
Entreat the Angels. Looks like Carpet is one of your main phases.
Okay.
You get to choose which.
Thank you to our Twitter followers at home.
I
help.
believed that to be the case, but I was guessing solely on watching John Pennick play sideboarded games.
Sure. I mean, God knows I've never cast a Carpet of Flowers. Belcher Goblins, neither one.
I was about to say, I've actually played it in Belcher, sideboarded it in
look at
Belcher
you.
before. Yeah.
I don't try to play past turn 1, so
Yeah.
by playing Carpet of Flowers, that's what you're trying to do.
Yes.
That's all sorts of. That's just backwards and wrong. Why aren't they dead yet?
It was an interesting Belcher build.
What do you need that mana for? They should be long gone.
So, Entreat the Angels gone. Now we have to think, what is Shawn looking for? Beyond Terminus. Jace also quite good. Humility, still pretty powerful here. He still has access to top, but not as many shuffle effects. He's got Brainstorm, some fairly useless Force of Wills, but you know, maybe they'll be used at some point. A counterbalance there, not doing much either.
So he's topping furiously, looking for something that does anything, as Tim is going to draw a card here. And I think this turn starts with exactly that, attacking with Thrun, putting Shawn down to 9, and we do see a Thragtusk in Tim's hand, so we're probably going to see that get cast here. Carpet of Flowers is going to add mana during the second main phase. He's going to be able to top with this mana, as you see him counting all the blue manas over there, so he's got a lot of mana, and let's see if he can find something to do with it. And you see Garruk, Primal Hunter, Sensei's Divine Top, and a Mountain.
A Garruk that would be comically uncastable were it not for that Carpet of Flowers. But now you can just sort of run your opponent out of counters, or out of cards rather.
Yep.
Because thanks to Carpet of Flowers, you're going to be able to play both spells. So one Force of Will gets hard cast, the other one you're going to have to pitch a Brainstorm for it, and that leaves Shawn with no cards in hand and a couple of mediocre ones on top in the form of a counterbalance and a couple lands, I believe.
And you see Tim did run that Garruk into a hardcast Force of Will. Now he's going to cast the Thragtusk.
From the Slaughter Games, he knew Shawn's hand exactly, and normally you wouldn't want to let your opponent hard cast the Force of Will, but being able to do two things forces one of the Force of Wills to be cast the hard way in this case being having to sacrifice an extra card.
Yep, sacrificing the card that he did have to sacrifice was Brainstorm. Ooh, sorry about that, AJ.
Here, not actually that great, but it does get him one deeper. Well, it doesn't anymore. And now, oh, and also, huge! The one life from Force Will is an additional turn off of the clock with Thrun, because it was 4 damage a turn at 9 life. Now he's at 8, going to 4. He's actually dead next turn.
And you're going to see Sensei's Divine Top get countered here by Counterbalance, revealing Sensei's Divine Top. But Shawn, we know he has top 2 lands. Now he's going to see the third card. It is another Sensei's Divining Top.
Tops don't actually work well together.
They, oddly enough, do not. And that is a handshake.
Hand.
Tim Wilson, punishing Nick Fit, takes down Shawn Dewey and his blue-white-red Miracles deck 2-1.
That was an awesome game. I don't know. I thought for sure there was like some Terminus action going on. I thought the throne was on lock and Jace was going to just take over. But Shawn brainstormed instead of +2ing, trying to make his, have his Jace survive for another turn. You plus Jace, you let